RPG Maker games are sick. If you were like me growing up on the internet and didn't have the money to splash on the latest games or the technical know-how on pirating games, there was a decent chance that you got into the niche of playing free RPG Maker games. Of course you got the classics like Yume Nikki, Off, Eve, Space Funeral, One Shot, and many others. And since you're the type to click on a video like this, you already know why these games are so great, so there's no real point in praising them for like the fucking bajillionth time. So I just thought it would be fun to talk about some recently released games that deserve more attention because they're just cool and good and free, and yeah. I've got 8 games lined up. Also, these aren't really reviews or anything, I just want to talk about some games I like for a bit so people would get interested in playing them. So that means I'm most likely going to be somewhat spoiling all these games to some degree because I just can't fucking control myself. So if you just wanted some game recommendations, here's your stopping points. Just go ahead and play all of them before watching this video. They're free and will only take a couple hours to fully experience. Links to all the games in the description. And then afterwards we can have a nice discussion about new games we discovered on the internet. And isn't that pretty cool? And for the other people who don't care, I respect that too, but just know that I will find you. The first game I want to talk about is Beetle Ninja, which was released in 2024, and oh wait, we gotta call on the answering machine. Some weird shit is going down in some cornfields. They always got something going on, like aliens that like cool looking circles or Mr. Hands or something. Anyways, let's go on down there. This intro sequence was when I knew this game was going to be amazing. You get this loud and ominous sounding music with these fleshy bean dudes walking to some giant ass bean before Beetle Ninja promptly cuts that shit in half like a badass. Oh fuck. Yeah, the game only has a limited amount of time before everything goes to hell with all these fleshy monsters taking over the world, which are created by the beans. And with each passing day, the world changes with new opportunities to defeat them by going on missions. Or you can just get blackout drunk at a bar 15 days in a row. Saving the world sure gets stressful sometimes. Also at the bar, you can recruit different ninjas to help you in battle, and trust me, you need to recruit them because you won't last too long on your own. I made that mistake during the first mission. Shit was brutal, getting murdered by 2 birds and a meat pile who's judging me by sticking their meat ton out their meat hole or something. It's honestly just cool to recruit as many ninjas as possible because even if they might cost a lot or you may never use them, they all have unique dialogue every day in your house, and it's really cool to see how they all react to the world ending. My favorites were Lemon Ninja, an ex-convict who was always surprised that he kept on hiring him despite his shady reputation, and Tomato Ninja, who talks like an ancient fucking philosopher about the art of mastering the tomato. The vegetal blade is a mighty weapon. It is a tool of death, rot, and destruction, only awarded top the most fervorous of faith. Yet we mustn't draw the blade in blinded rage, lest the mystic tomato shall cast us aside. Though my faith hath been tested, I remain steadfast in my resolve. The mystic tomato eludes me, yet its wisdom is ever present. Also, can you cash at me $500 real quick? The combat is also pretty damn good. It uses a real-time system which keeps the fights quick and engaging, and the visuals are just a pleasure to look at, and the music is a fucking jam. All of this game's music is actually. I find it so funny that the word violence is repeated in the background, just in case if you forgot what to do or you didn't know what was happening on the screen. This game's just got a great sense of humor, like how the main healing items you can get are discount salmon and prime salmon. One costs more, but they both heal the same. Or how there's a bunch of smokers, but this one lady's really quick to correct you on how this is actually a candy cigarette, not a normal cigarette. Judgmental bitch. And I found this thing in the sewers. It's pretty cute, I guess. This is all just very refreshing in this soon-to-be post-apocalyptic wasteland. The missions are the main meat piles of this game, with the end goal being to take out a seed of rebirth. These areas are super fun to explore and each feel unique from the last, like exploring an overrun apartment, reuniting a family of monkeys, or taking out some weird-ass meat monsters on the ocean floor. A cool little detail is that Beetle Ninja will knock on the door before opening it, and that's pretty cute and all, but I don't get how he literally knocks on nothing sometimes. I guess the dude is just a ventriloquist savant. You know, I always wanted to be one when I was a kid, but I also kept on thinking that it's lame as hell and the people who do it are lame as hell, so I just never got into it. I really enjoy the scaling of how increasingly doomed the world is due to these monsters as you go all over the globe to try and eradicate them, with them progressively getting stronger and more grotesque looking. It's all really well done. There's a little town you can explore too right outside your office at the start of every day, and seeing the townsfolk's reactions to the ongoing situation was pretty interesting. Like, there's this nihilistic dude right outside your place saying that the world is doomed and there's nothing we can do about it, who slowly gains more and more followers as the days progress. There's also the store clerk who's fun to talk to and learn more about. I felt my brain expanding towards my skull when this one kid said that the store clerk liked cooking snails, and 4 days later it was raining and there were snails around, so I got some cool revive items as a result. I know it's a simple interaction, but it just felt really gratifying to pay attention to the world and have it reward me. Also, if you're listening to this in a store right now, I want you to go over to one of the cash registers, put your hand in, stare the clerk dead in the eyes, and start screaming. There's a lot of these small little interactions that make the characters feel more than some generic townfolk NPCs and like there are some actual stakes. It makes me care about saving these lovable dimwits even if they have been jerks to me. But not you, Tomato Ninja. You're the best, Tomato Ninja, my beloved. But you know, just stay away from me, Zombie Ninja. You're like rotting and shit. That's kind of gross. Like, no hate, but like, get the fuck away from me. Overall, Beetle Ninja is constantly intriguing over its playtime, even across multiple playthroughs since you can't do everything you want in just one run. I can tell there's a lot of love and passion poured into this game and you should totally check it out. It's currently sitting at 44 reviews on Steam, and it would be cool to see that number go up even more. So yeah, this is your last chance to avoid some spoilers for this game now, so just go check it out already or you'll end up like this dude, which I'm no professional on wearing helmets underwater as you can clearly see, so I don't know what fucking happened to him. Anyway, skip to here if you don't want to see the spoilers. So I've already mentioned briefly how the NPCs start losing hope for the world and say things like, "Oh, nothing is going to save us, we're doomed. Oh, woe is me, I just shitted in my pants." And this is nothing new for a doomsday game like this, right? But the main thing that stood out to me was how most characters, even your fellow ninja, specifically doubt you as the one being able to do anything about it. There's specifically a group of ninjas in each mission area that are surprised that you're even there at all and how you're even trying to do anything. But for how much they talk down to you, they say they don't want to do anything either. It's pretty frustrating to talk to them, but in a good way, because these guys are fucking losers. People constantly insult you and they are convinced that you'll never save the day. Hell, at one point, a literal ninja mega corporation is trying to make you join its rank because you're a threat to their profits because of how much you're saving the world. You're telling me you're concerned about your net income when the world is ending in less than a week? You are literally in a fucking helicopter that's built like a mansion. Hell, you got a piano in the goddamn corner and a huge ass feasting table. God, it's almost like they would rather let the world end if it means you won't be the one to save it. I'm surprised that Beetle Ninja puts up with this shit day in and day out and doesn't just gore one of these sons of bitches. And all of this to me is part of the reason why I find Beetle Ninja to be so compelling. It's not just that I have to save the world, it's I have to save the world in order to prove them wrong. It's extra satisfying to do this because there's always these little opportunities to go out of town and do something else for the entire day. They all give a stat increase, which is nice, but if you had a mission on that day and decide to go gambling instead, you can't go back and do it later. That area is now completely doomed all because you want to go to Las Vegas. Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't have to clean up that hellscape. Of course, every day doesn't have a mission. You can have these relaxed days where you can choose these options safely. But I like the idea of having these options always open as a punishment for in context of the game, completely dismissing the opportunity to prove yourself as a hero and giving into the stress that the world is pushing on you. And it's what made the last mission so memorable and touching. It hit me right in my little beetle heart. I'm not gonna talk about it at all because you should just play it for yourself to see what I mean. Shit was awesome. It's honestly a shame that Beetle Ninja hasn't nearly gotten enough praise yet. It's a short game that offers replayability with fun gameplay and with an extremely interesting and satisfying story. If that description doesn't sound like every amazing RPG Maker game, I don't know what does. You can really see and feel all the thought and consideration that was spent into creating this game. Go play it when you get the time, it's worth it. Now, I want to briefly talk about a cool little game called Blood Orange. It was made during the Thalassophobia Game Jam back in 2022. Thalassophobia meaning seeing water and being like, holy shit. Yeah, those are aliens. And this game did a pretty good job in making me feel like that. You play as Nora, a man who's had very little success in his research about an Amazon river basin, which is seriously starting to take a heavy toll on him. But determined to prove something, he continues plunging down and exploring a weird and foreboding underwater structure. We just walk around, get used to the controls and mechanics, snap photos of cool fish, do a few simple puzzles, and find some cassette tapes. Okay, now who the fuck is throwing out cassette tapes in an Amazon river basin or leaving them behind in this weird ass structure? Like, how did you get to that point in your life? Who raised you? Oh shit, a dolphin. Hold on, let me take a photo of that really quickly. Oh, hey there. What the hell can talk and it knows me? Even before I arrived? And some of the other dolphins are violent. Jesus, no wonder why Nora hasn't been able to do anything. These crusty lawn-nosed mastermind fucks know everything about you and speak like you're on borrowed time. Which you 100% are. There are these puzzle segments where you need to find keys to unlock doors as silently as possible unless a dolphin would do this to you. Sorry, but I found the sudden cutoff really fucking funny. These segments are pretty good overall. They were fun and reasonably challenging, even if you're a dumbass like me and insisted on pulling out the key as quickly as possible and alerting the dolphin immediately. I don't get why Nora doesn't just fucking dump oil into the water. I think that would solve most of his issues. You know, shit's already burning down anyways, why not speed it up some more? Also, these dolphin designs are really cool too. It captures their mysterious and intimidating personalities really well, and this one in particular is my favorite. God, what an amazingly haunting illustration. I enjoyed the story a lot in its short playtime. The setting and the characters intrigued me and left a lot of mystery, which was fun to try and piece together what was actually going on. It was just a nice 1 hour long experience that made me wish that this team made a longer game, because what they made here is extremely promising and exactly what you're looking for when playing a game jam game. So yeah, go check it out. Anyways, next game. Swollen to bursting until I'm disappearing on purpose is definitely a name for a game. Or I suppose the full name is actually Swollen to bursting until I'm disappearing on purpose, or Fish 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 Soft Spot, or New Game, or Maybe I Misdirected You, or Continue, or Mechanical Cows, or System, or I'm Not Happy or Sad, I'm Just Here All the Time, or End, or Take Care of Yourself. Don't worry, this title makes complete sense if you have played the game. Swollen to Bursting takes place in a town called Vomit, and one day a UFO crash lands there, but before you can see it, you gotta finish your shift as a mailman. So the UFO has to wait for now. This game is heavily inspired by Yume Nikki, meaning you can find cool effects to use and wear. There's 15 in total. However, unlike Yume Nikki or its fan games, this game is more linear in that you're following a loose sense of progression with the parcels you have to deliver and the side quests you can do, which is honestly a pretty refreshing take on this concept, because as much as I love aimlessly wandering around to different worlds and seeing cool shit, Swollen to Bursting makes this gameplay very satisfying with its more direct progression and a more obvious, albeit beautifully confusing story to follow. One of the ways of progression I'm talking about is that there's actually combat in this game. You can milk your effects of this mechanical cow to increase your level, and well, you just have to watch this to understand. You can see in the recording I froze up when it said time to kill. I don't know, man, something about seeing that screen for the first time was an experience all by itself. It was like a complete fucking shock to my system. I have zero clue who this man is, but it's honestly really fucking funny and adds to the experience a lot, so I like it. One of my favorite parts about this game is its atmosphere. It loves to shift around to different areas and themes. Hell, it even has songs with vocals, which are all really well made. And these visuals add a lot to the experience too, with its crunchy and hazy mix of 2D and 3D graphics. And this weird-ass loading screen that kept on jump scaring me the first couple of times I saw it, like, God. But no matter where you are in this game, it always has an underlying sense of melancholy or just something is not right. It all plays as in a really amazing and memorable fever dream of ideas, but also grounded to reality by how personal and emotional the game is. You can feel the developer reaching out to you because this game is ultimately a tool for expressing their inner psyche. And it was honestly really meaningful to play this game as a result, because as I progressed more and more, not only did I learn more about the game, but also the person behind it too. I'll get into all that later, however, because I want to talk more about the gameplay first. So after delivering all the parcels and whooping the police chief's ass, you can get access to inside the UFO, or what the game refers to as the More. There's a few carnival attractions before you're just greeted with this. Absolute darkness. This shit had me on the edge of my seat whenever I was walking on through. Like that one man in a suit was gonna run out of the darkness and berate me for not being as fashionable as him, before he gives me a coupon to the nearest Men's Warehouse and saying that a gray suit is the most versatile, before he fucking beats me to death. You can get this one effect called Dark Globe to see your coordinates in the More, and some NPCs tell you points of interest, which was a fun thing to locate and solve. The Rat World was one of my favorites. This rat dude has some serious guitar skills. In another area, you can go inside this police box and enter a giant-ass room that has a floor composed of thousands of lights beneath you. There's this trippy but also oddly hypnotic song playing, and walking north you can find a series of differently colored tiles for a puzzle. And this face, outside the police box, there's an ice cream truck who only serves strawberry because that's the only flavor he likes, even though he has 2 others for sale. Fucking weird business tactic, but okay. He also says I have to look more feminine to get the ice cream, so you have to find and wear the maid effect in order to get it. Like, I seriously wonder what this implies about the main character and the relationship with this ice cream man and femininity in general. There's lots of theories you can come up with just this one interaction. It's these small moments that make me intrigued in the game, like several things you interact with ask you a random question. Would you like to be Daddy Longlegs? Do you believe in ghosts? Are you a coward? Are you still okay? This game's story is like having a massive puzzle set and having all the hints to a greater picture that you can definitely resemble in your mind right, but it's making all of them come together in one logical way that makes this game endlessly fascinating to me. And to be honest, I don't think I or anyone else will fully solve that puzzle, and I don't even think that's a bad thing or even necessary to enjoying this game fully. And as much as I want to talk about all of them because there's so many cool moments like this, like, don't even get me started on the fish you can talk to about divorce. But also, you need to play this game, it's simply incredible. Anyways, now we're entering more spoiler territory, so you know what to do. This game is written in such a captivating but also paralyzing way. There's so many emotions laid bare and so many different depressing themes explored that I'm just gonna use a review to explain it simply without spoiling too much. It's like hot gluing a bunch of knives to the front of a pickup truck and then ramming into me. Thank you. The text hurts, and it's very effective in doing so. It's just so genuine and heartfelt. Every time you defeat a boss, time moves forward by months and you're suddenly back in your apartment. Interacting with all the objects in the room paints this grim picture of how much shit is going on in this guy's life. It's all depressing to read through, and it's honestly a sucker punch after defeating a boss and being like, nice, I won. And then it's like, Oh no. It's all made even more hard-hitting by how it's clear that the developer has been dealing with this for so long. It's such an honest and human portrayal of the struggles of mental health. It may seem like I'm reading too much into it or something, but I'm really not. You just got to play it to see what I mean. I kind of feel like I'm invading this guy's personal life just by playing the game and even talking about it so briefly. If that doesn't explain the writing in this game, I really don't know what does. I just connect with this game on a deep level, and I like it a lot because of that. But anyways, to conclude, some of the things I've seen in this game I deeply resonate with. Some of the things I've seen I don't resonate with just simply because I never felt that way before. But this game had me thinking about myself and the relationships I hold with others a lot. Everyone goes through shit, so just take care of yourself and the people you love. This game is just amazing. It conveys emotions so human in a remarkable way. I have never experienced anything quite like swollen to bursting until I'm disappearing on purpose before, and I don't think I will anytime soon. Video games are ultimately tools for connecting with people, and not just in the multiplayer type of way, but for game developers to connect with their players, and it's honestly super cool that you can experience a true gem like this right now on your computer all for free. I love super personal art that makes me learn more about the person who is making it. All of the games on the list achieve this, and I know that the video isn't over yet, but I don't think it hurts to bring it up early. Please support the devs behind these games. And a message to the developer of Swollen to Bursting. You might say your ending isn't satisfying, but it really doesn't have to be, because what you have made has already stuck with me. So, thanks for that.
I'm just as bad as all those guys with depraved eyes.
Okay, that was a fucking lot. So let's just take a moment to look at my dog Tiger real quick. He's my YouTube profile picture and he's dumb as shit. Anyways, let's talk about Franzen now. It's definitely the most traditional RPG game I'll be covering. And I'm gonna keep it brief since this game is very story driven, so I'm gonna have to explain some stuff. Sorry about that, but that's also kind of your fault, so fuck you. So we live in a world called Franzen, a world of light and dark, flesh and metal. Shit was peaceful. Everybody was on that good shit, and there was no social media, and fast food was actually affordable. A true utopia, until one day an eldritch finality that started an unparalleled suffering occurred. A force made of ceaseless darkness ripped through the skies, dubbed the Scream, which has been causing mass devastation by corrupting people into savage monsters called daemons, and cretins who don't use turn signals called dumbasses. Our two main characters soon awake, a weird bird dragon type dude with a pot belly and a tuba attached to his shoulder called Franz, and a more weird slug cat type human with 6 limbs called Lefsa. They got cool designs, I like them. Anyways, they are amateur researchers of the Scream and have to make an emergency landing because their ship got damaged by these gross looking but also oddly nice looking gas bag monsters. When we arrive, we learn that we are shit out of luck because we can't afford the repairs for our ship, and since we're in some powerful leader's airspace who isn't allowing people to leave, we are fucked. But hey, at least we're home in the lower class district. Franz's mother tells him that things have gotten really bad with the main power going into a schism over some daemon killer with all the police being on edge. Near the top of the district, there's a couple asshole racists who won't let us pass. Okay guys, it's like 11v3. Power in numbers, everyone. What the hell, guys? I thought you had my back. Whatever, now these fucking losers will let us pass. Freeloading pussies. I can't believe this game made me care about a relationship between a fat fuck dragon birdman and a cat slug humanoid lady. Also, I love how Lessa rides around in Franz's shoulder tuba and scurries on out whenever she has something to say. It's pretty cute, all things considered. Now, I don't want to do a plot summary or anything like that, because the story is much better appreciated and experienced by actually playing than watching some dipshit give his rough notes on it. And I literally only explained the first 15 minutes of the game, and I almost had 5 hours in total by the end. so I basically didn't tell you jack shit about the game. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through some general points if that's like chill with everyone, you know? Don't want to act out of line or anything. The sprite work in this game is fantastic, with defective but still powerful robots that fucking bash my brains in, weird flying whales, and dried out skeleton bird things who look extremely pissed off. The combat was challenging at times, but never too hard. Even though I do think they give you way too many recovery items, and the fights do just kind of devolve into spamming the same attacks with little variety during the late game. But hey, it was still good overall. I enjoy the music a lot too, it fits well with the world and how it rapidly changes. But my biggest gripe with this game is how sometimes it just doesn't play any music at parts, or hell, any fucking audio at all, which sometimes happens during long and important cutscenes where all you do is read for several minutes. Maybe add some kind of ambience or text scrolling noises if you didn't want to play music here. Not saying this ruined my experience or anything dumb like that, it's just a bit odd. My favorite part of this game was by far the story, and like any good RPG Maker game, the story's the main thing that you remember, and Franzen tells a really good one. It kept me engaged over its 5 hours, I liked all the characters, and I thought it had a good ending. Even if in retrospect it could be slightly predictable, but I still don't care because I liked it anyways. Franzen is just a good time, and it's free, what more could you ask for? Actually, don't answer that because I don't care about what you have to say. And don't forget to stay hydrated, my lovely viewers. God, that shit is so fucking stupid. Why do YouTubers say that? Like, no shit I'm staying hydrated or I would be fucking dead. And oh yeah, one of your party members is called Fucker. No, I'm not joking. Fucker. Fucker, my beloved. Oh fuck, I already made that joke. Fuck. Fuck. Anyways, go fucking check out Franzen, I'm moving on. Okay, so far I've talked about games with stories that I really like. So now let's talk about one that I can't fucking decipher at all. Bird Game is a game about birds and evil purple corvids and Jesus Christ and the Antichrist and being damned to hell for the rest of eternity and something to do about bitcoins. Listen, it'll make a bit more sense when I get into it. Also, apologies for the gameplay looking fuzzy. I don't know why the recording came out like that, but also the game is just kind of low resolution to begin with, so it's nothing too major. Anyways, the date is month of Augustus Caesar, the year of our Lord 1102 and 40. Prior timescales ago, a purple fowl dug beneath the terrain. It induced offspring who arose from the dirt once every 7 moments. The corvinous creatures terrorized civilians until the renowned wrestling fish traveled underground and raised their dwelling. For a millennium, the purple birds disappeared and now everyone lives in peace and prosperity. It is here that the journey commences. So you play as Bird, who's built like a goddamn bowling pin. We say good morning to our cat and help the mayor defeat a purple corvid. Also, what the fuck are HP is called SLBRSNS, which is apparently short for salubriousness, of course. But yeah, our main goal is to take out these purple corvids, so we have to go to different places to stop them. We go through some weird-ass SMT type dungeon with geese inside them, beat a dude at checkers and dine and dash, watch a guy get abducted by aliens and collect some tapestries so we can go recruit a monk. And everyone in this game speaks like they have read to the last page of a thesaurus. Like, okay, Lucubrator, I'll evidence underneath your vokish rudiments. You get the joke, right? I used fancy words in a mocking way to insult the NPCs like I was one of the characters in the game too. God, I want to fucking mutilate myself. Yeah, the game definitely takes some inspiration from the Heartless series, with its text being on the more incomprehensible side. And with the use of clay and other physical props crunchified to make the backgrounds and combat animations, you can definitely draw comparisons, but Bird Game does enough to differentiate itself from being a clone or something. One thing I really enjoyed about the game is the music, because of how oddly perfect it is. It's just BitCrush versions of classical music made by a Russian guy in the early 1900s. Damn, that's over a century ago. Isn't time moving forward kinda crazy? Like, someone in the future might look at this video and be like, 2025? Damn, that's over a century ago. So if anyone is watching this from the distant future, just know these 3 things. Number 1, Dr. Pepper is better than Sprite. Number 2, Deathbrain makes really good music. Go check that artist out, I really like their work. And number 3, A part of me wants to believe that this game has some deeper philosophical meaning behind it, or some religious allegory that when fully understood reveals some great truth about the universe, or reveals my home address and credit card information. But honestly, to a pea-brain dummy like me, this game is just complete absurdism. And I like that I even raised the thought in my mind that this could actually be going somewhere deeper. Anyways, now I'm gonna spoil the ending of this game for a moment just because I like it that much. So yeah, skip here if you care for bird game spoilers. The ending of this game was something I could never have prepared for in my entire life. So you can find and recruit different party members throughout the game, and found one who asked to join. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, you look funny, you're upside down, you're pretty cool, I guess. And then I found out his name was the Antichrist. So, alright, I'm kinda concerned because of all the religious theming in this game, but you know, whatever. So fast forward to the final boss fight, and you just gotta watch this. Fucking seeing this at 2 in the morning for the first time made me think I was having a nightmare. This fight is impossible to win, by the way, and triggers the bad ending where you're condemned to eternal suffering in Hades. How to get the good ending is by refusing the Antichrist by telling him to shut up, and this time you get the Lord on your side in combat. And instead of burning in hell, you just get a message that says, "It is finished." I honestly couldn't have expected this to end any other way. 10 out of 10. So yeah, go check out this game if any of this sounded interesting. It's only like 2 hours and it's just a fun and interesting time that'll definitely make you think about it for the next few days as you're about to go to sleep. So basically, bird game is good game. Something that has always interested me with RPG Maker games are the fan games that people make. It's just so cool to see someone else's interpretation of a game that they hold dearly. We all already know how many fan games exist for Yume Nikki. The list goes on for so long, I honestly doubt that anyone has or will beat all of them before their brain turns off and they pull Matasuki. But the fan games that interest me the most are Lisa fan games. Lisa the Painful is my favorite RPG Maker game of all time, and just one of my favorite games in general. It has become a mind virus for me recently. I talk about it so much that my friends probably think I'm going up on the spectrum every time I mention something about it. I unironically listen to Lisa soundtracks when I'm playing other games or working out. Hell, my last semester's math class was so difficult at points that I started playing Blood for Sex when trying to do my calculus. It was only for 10 minutes, but still, the fact that my mind thought to do that at all was fucking insane. I don't know, man, the Lisa games just strike a perfect balance between its gameplay, music, characters, and story that's all wrapped up in a crude sincerity that just resonates really well for me. You probably already know what the basic plot summary, Painful and Joyful are, but to the uninitiated, here's a super short version. The world is normal. Everyone is on that just okay shit, and then a supernatural event happens and all of the women disappear and the world promptly goes to hell. Some time passes in this new post-apocalyptic wasteland, and one day a man called Brad Armstrong finds a female baby, the now only girl alive, who after a while of growing up ends up getting kidnapped, and almost all of mankind proceed to fight to the death in order to do what they desire with the now last girl. And there's also weird-ass druggies who turn into bloodlusting and violent mutants and just other plain weird shit. Trust me, it's cinema. Now, I've already played a lot of the bigger fan games, and what they do with the property is really fucking cool, and honestly some of them stand on their own and genuinely feel like DLCs for the base game. Here's all the ones that I played, but I want to focus on the most recently released big fan game, and honestly, my favorite one that I've ever played. Lisa, the Heartless. This game takes place in the end times for the human population. Ammo and lives are scarce. Nature is slowly reclaiming the world, and the last generation of men has grown up. And we play as three of them, Cleaver, Scrapper, and Banshee, who are being raised by a man that they simply call King. Not only do I love these character designs and just the art overall, I find it interesting the position that these four characters hold. Gains have always been ubiquitous in Lisa games, and that's no different here. However, usually the characters you play as are a bunch of no-namer bitches or random fucks getting foiled time after time by more powerful gains than people. This isn't the case in Heartless though. We play as the dominant force in the region. We collect disgusting, arguably inedible carrots from weak farmers who can barely meet their quota because we keep on killing them or they run away. It's really interesting and a good setup for what follows later in the game. And now I'm just going to summarize the first part of this game really quickly so we can get to the main and best part. It had good gameplay. I liked exploring and finding all the little secrets. Learning some more about the main characters was cool too, and we fought some white people, you know, normal Lisa shit. We finished our pretty ordinary purification patrol, and the king says that the day has come for the real test. Go to the other side of the island to purify the lands and obtain a boat. Scrapper has his doubts, Banshee seems confident, and Cleaver is just being silent as always. I think it's gonna be all fine. Insert that one like generic ass joke of like foreshadowing or some shit, cause it's not gonna be fine. Like, who am I trying to fool? I'm fucking stupid. So after dispatching a surprisingly strong and badass looking man, like, he had fucking lightning strike down for his intro to the fight, that is instant cool material. We arrive at an almost nearly empty mining town. This place gives off bad vibes, and the museum here is strangely intimidating. But hey, at least we got a key that gives us access to the mines so we can progress. This part of the game is so fucking well done. We are so out of our element here. The locals seem off, but mostly nice enough. We need constant fuel for our lantern, otherwise we're just alone in the dark. The miners warn us about going to the deeper levels, which seems to be some kind of resting ground for the dead and a prison for miners who have gone insane. I just love the atmosphere here. It has such a heavy, intense feeling everywhere you go. The creativity on display here was perfect. The art, music, characters, and people that you fight slowly getting more terrifying and challenging as you progress. It gives me heavy fear and hunger vibes and works really great in the context of this being a world in Lisa, where death and mutants are only getting more common. It's just so fucking bleak and unnerving. God, it's amazing. I love how the main characters have scenes of them doubting themselves and wondering what they are even doing, and rarely times where they're psyching themselves up to push through. Scrapper is a sarcastic brute who just wants to get the mission done, and Banshee's an aptly described zealot who speaks very flowery and ends up getting us in trouble with the locals. Like, did you really think it was a good idea to call these guys sinners and that they have no use to the world? You know the kind of world we're living in right now? You fucking know this guy? He funny. I really liked all the locals too, and how some of them look like smiling friends, background characters, or actual animals. They all made this place feel like a really fleshed out and tight-knit group that are just on the brink of collapsing. It's super cool. Some other details that I liked were the speakers you can find occasionally in the more populated areas. This is just some great world building, and you can get some nice lore if you're patient. Another cool detail is that instead of the traditional save crows that you always use, there's also canaries out and about that you can find as one-time use saves anywhere, which are very much appreciated when the only save crow guy keeps on increasing the price every use. It's pretty brutal, but it honestly adds to the stressful environment of the mines overall and makes each and every time you're able to save that much more satisfying. I think putting them in tied up bags is going to kill them before you can detect any harmful gases or whatever miners used to use them for back in the day, but I don't think the miners here are all that bright. Like, they eat guano soup, fall asleep in dangerous machinery, and most look like descendants of the Habsburg family, but they somehow managed to keep this mining operation going, so what's YNO? So yeah, now I'm entering more spoiler territory, so skip here if you want. Anyways, when first entering the deeper levels of the mines, or what the game calls the pit, you see these eyes that pierce out of the darkness. And now, me being a rationally minded gamer, I made sure I was ready for a fight, only to be greeted by this. This was honestly a really comforting scene, just looking down at the pit, not knowing the dangers that initially laid there, with this random ominous dude, knowing he was there always watching me, was pretty nice honestly. And every time I came up, frantically wanting to save and some more supplies after experiencing the horrors down there, just seeing those eyes was really relieving, like I made it to safety. I honestly thought they're gonna pull the cliche, character and cutscene turns around with hyper-realistic bloody eyes and balls. And upon looking into the game files, there's an additional photo of what I just said. I'm glad that they didn't do this because it made such a small scene way more meaningful as a result. I do like my version better though. Delving deeper into the mines is where the intensity is really ramped up and it's awesome. You get a classic fight where someone starts it by running at you, but nothing prepared me for the fight that came after. The tunnels at this point are so narrow that only Cleaver can fit through them, meaning you are completely alone. And after crawling through this almost pitch black and claustrophobic area for a while, as clenched tighter than ever, this happens. This was my favorite moment in the entire game. The tense and intimidating atmosphere where you're fearful about every step you make was brought to its extreme with this fight. It was just so unexpected. Look, I even stopped moving when I got into the tunnels. I never even thought of that being a possibility at all. I swear, they put that first fight there to get you even harder. It's perfect. The fight too was amazing, barely surviving each turn and actually figuring out that you can knock the mutant down and deal massive damage that way was just satisfying as hell. I love what happens after you defeat it too. God, what a perfect little piece of gameplay in an already amazing game. Exploring the rest of the mines was a blast too, learning more about this mining community, the rest of the fights keeping up the difficulty, and all the little secrets you can find. And of course the music is a fucking jam too. You even got the obligatory guy listening to disco music so loud you can hear it on another screen. Lisa the Heartless is just an extremely well thought out and well polished product, and it achieved everything it was going for. It made me and the characters I was playing as feel completely out of my element, which is a complex thing to achieve, especially in a survival horror game where you can easily lose immersion through poor balancing and level design, bad scares, and other shit like that. It also struck a weird and kind of psychotic chord in me, because as much as I love these characters, it was also so much fucking fun to watch them suffer too. I would keep on going about how cool the game is because there's so much to highlight and talk about, but I'm just gonna stop myself here. Check out this game if you played Lisa the Painful and Joyful already as per the developer's request, because this game is tough, and combined with the scarcity of saves, it can make for a brutal but highly enjoyable time. If I'm being completely honest, I think this game can be enjoyed by itself without much knowledge of Lisa, but that's just me. And the best part about this game is that it's just a demo. This is only the first of several chapters that they have planned, and if this project is already this good, I can't wait to see what else the team has in store. This is honestly just a must play for any Lisa fan, so yeah, go check it out when you get a chance. Now, everybody loves Yume Nikki. It inspired a crazy amount of people, and its influence can still be seen today. I don't know why, just being a shut-in who likes to sleep all day and walking around in this person's dreams and nightmares is just a really novel and fun concept. And since everybody has their own unique dreams and nightmares, and with how accessible it is to make a game like this, it led to a lot of fan games, which is genuinely some of the coolest shit ever. How this one mysterious guy released a free game in 2004, and it's still just as relevant as it was when it first released over 20 years ago. This is the shit that some kid is gonna read in their history books 100 years from now. God, the internet can be really fucking cool sometimes. But there's always one way to make these experiences better, by making it multiplayer. And that's what the Yume Nikki Online project does. On your browser, meaning no downloads required, or trying to get English patches, or trying to make the game run optimally, or any of that bullshit. Just click on one of the doors and you're off to the bed. You can optionally make an account if you want to use the chat and party system. Just a username and password, no email required. It's all super straightforward and great. There's a good amount of games here. You got Yume Nikki, Yume Tuki, and a lot of other more popular fan games. There's also an earlier version of One Shot here that uses the actual website for its fourth wall breaking moments, which is pretty cool. Most people on here play Yume Tuki with a smaller number of players for Yume Nikki and the rest of the games. And the one I want to talk about is Collective Unconscious, a game specifically made for the YNO Project. Clever name, by the way. You play as Minasuki, a big scaredy cat of doors in real life, so they have to interact with this mysterious and magical totem to teleport her to a spirit world just so she can open up doors. I like the small change in accessing the Nexus/Dream worlds. Instead of just being a jobless, friendless, and purposeless shut-in who sleeps all day, it turns into someone who has the ability to access and explore an entire universe of different worlds, which they prefer more than the one that they currently live in. And this Nexus looks beautiful. I love how it takes place on this deep blue island with space-looking water surrounding it. Imagine instead of the normal religious afterlife imagery of clouds and shit, it was just this instead. That would be sick as hell. I would immediately convert to whatever religion that is. And then I would immediately start killing other people for their religious beliefs because they're simply inferior to mine. Anyways, you guys want to talk about religion now? Could you fucking imagine if I did that? Now, to be honest, I don't really have too much else to say about the game other than it's a really good Yume Nikki fan game. It gives me the same reasons why I like the original game so much. It's a fun and immersive world to get lost in and can basically make you feel any emotion that the game wants you to, all while giving me some things to speculate about this character. So I'm just gonna show you some cool shit that I saw in my ultimately brief playtime. So I guess potential spoiler warning. I like the schoolbook doodle type world and this one stick figure who's fucking jamming out to their heart's content. There's this one multicolored cone and inside is a super cool figure who can fall asleep if you turn off the lamp, which is pretty cute. I absolutely love the song that plays during this floating paths and islands type world. God, it sounds like something I would have in my lo-fi playlist back in high school when that was literally the only genre of music I listened to for some reason. Anyways, there was this one time where me and my friend got hit by a car that's attached to some giant ass hook. But I guess Minasuki is just a fucking beast because she gets up like nothing happened. In the sunflower field, there was something disturbing up there. Just gonna leave it at that. There was this relaxing ghosty village with a bar with the tender making a funny noise if he kept on talking to him. There was this one snowy world that perfectly reminded me of the walk back home from high school I had to do during winter every year. It was just beautiful and nostalgic. We also found this weird gambling area with people who are just one step away from looking like a dick, who dance as you burn all your money to not win anything. In a seemingly abandoned school, behind one of the doors lies a big clay cat dude who's crying. Sitting with him makes him stop. I really like this guy, he's cool and the cover you can get from visiting him is nice too. One time I was burning these sluggy dudes to smithereens when this weird ass angry bear thing decided that I no longer needed my head. There was this stupid bitch getting in my way when I was trying to play my video games. Like, damn, why are you looking at me like that? I'm just trying to get a fucking egg. Me and my friend found this cool apartment complex area with some nice looking characters. My favorite was this drinking bird who just endlessly spinned in place, and hey look, it's the penis people again. So yeah, good game is good. Go grab a friend or two and play it. Preferably late at night in a dark room with headphones. And honestly, just run up all the games over on YNO Project. It's just a good time. Hey guys, would you mind if I talked about a game in a more serious and kind of depressing way for a while? Like, you guys wouldn't stone me to death and piss on my corpse, or even worse, think that was cringe if I talked about something that I deeply enjoy, even if it's a bit unlike everything else on the list, right? Right? So, we're all cool with that? Alright, cool. Anyways, how I found a lot of these games was looking through the RPG Maker category on Steam and setting the price filter down to free. But one of these games always caught my attention more than any other. Oct 14. Its description is, "It's what happened that day." The screenshots looked fairly promising and I didn't scroll any further. I just hit installed and played. And you know what, I'm just gonna show you literally the entire game. So I just want to say this now because this game is very story driven. I am basically going to summarize and commentate on the whole journey, which doesn't do this amazing experience justice at all. I just really wanted to talk about the game in detail, and it's really hard not to spoil Oct 14. And if you're interested, this is the one game I recommend going completely blind into. And I trust you to decide whether you want to experience it like how the artist intended, or my dumbass inferior summary version. If you do check it out, make sure to read the description, it's very important. I just really wanted to show more people this project because I've been thinking about it almost every day for 5 months now, and it showed me why I love RPG Maker games so much. Anyways, if you want to skip this entire section, which is basically the rest of the fucking video, go to here, I guess. And one last thing, there's a lot of trigger warnings for what I'm gonna get into, so just be mindful of that, thanks. Anyways, we play as a pink-haired girl called Chi, who's just decided to bail from class, and using this opportunity we explore around the school. There's an empty room under construction and we take a rag and going back out and oh wait, this locker looks different. Okay, well I guess I just won't interact with that. We see that some fucking losers are being homophobic, so we get rid of that shit. Also, we see that this locker belongs to someone called Bev. In one of the classrooms we find Chi's desk and also Bev's too. We can also steal back our MP3 player. That's pretty cool. But enough of this lame ass school, let's get out of here. Hey, are you good?
Hey, what are you doing all the way out here? Dude, are you okay? You've been acting all weird since what happened last month. Don't think I haven't noticed. I care about you a lot, you know, so you can tell me anything. I can't do it. Huh? I said, I can't do it! Oh, I'm sorry for screaming. No, Bev, it's fine. Oh, is it? Is it really just fine? Was it fine when you kissed me without asking how I felt first? Was it fine when you got me suspended not even 1 week into September? And was it fine when you put our entire relationship up on your stupid website? But I didn't. Didn't? What? Bev, are you bleeding? You know, Chi, ever since I met you, I felt like there's been this burden weighing on my neck. Like this expectation to prove to you that I'm definitely okay. And sane, and it's like the moment I finally spill it, you just... Bev, oh please, I honestly don't even want to hear what you're about to say. I just want to understand what you're going through, asshole. Why? So you can face some fucking adversity for once in your life? Right, because then you'd actually have something meaningful to write about. What is wrong with you? I don't know. What is wrong with me, Chi? Could you tell me that? Because clearly you think you know all about what kind of illness I've got. Bev! Oh my god, I need to get you to a hospital. What is... A knife? You're not taking me anywhere. Bev! Stop! No! You've ruined everything for me. Are you serious? Is that a serious question? Or are you just that dumb? You're not even making any sense. Shut up! All sense in my life left the moment I met you. You know that's not true. You're acting like the past few months didn't even happen. Is that really it? A couple slip-ups and everything prior to that means nothing? Slip-ups? Slip-ups. Your definition of a slip-up is fucking tragic. You're so damn doting towards me all the time, you don't even realize the damage you've done. Do you know how much your silly little site has cost me? What bridges it's burned? Everyone has seen it, Chi. Everyone. If you had never entered my life... If you'd never entered my life, none of this would have happened. I'm... sorry. Better be. I should have been dead by now, and yet, by some fucking miracle, you managed to mess that up too. I'm only trying to help you. You helped enough. Maybe there's one thing you could do right. Bev, please. Back off! Bev. I'm sorry. I just...
So that was fucking something. 10 minutes ago, I was just browsing niche-free Steam games, and now I'm caught up in a mystery that caused the death of someone. I seemingly got the ending first, and this was only one day of the entire story. I was immediately hooked, and I want to know more. During their fight, they mentioned a website, so let me look at the description this time. Before playing the short experience, it is highly recommended that you delve into the contents of Pion87's blog. This is a companion piece to Naomi's debut full-length record, Chi-Chi. Okay, firstly, this is a goddamn multimedia story and project? That's sick as hell. And oops, I guess I experienced this kinda backwards, but it's fine because I still really enjoyed it overall. But anyways, let's get to the blog. On the surface, the blog is just emulating a traditional GeoCities website. Except when you scroll down to the bottom, you see this weird glitched entry that causes the website to freak the fuck out for a bit. That's pretty odd, and there's also some legs or tentacles down here too that takes you to either a clock or some lockers, and hey wait, that's the note from the game. Can't seem to get it or open the locker though. That's strange. Anyways, for the actual entries, it starts off pretty normal. A quick test post and a follow-up complaining about how shit high school is. And also that somebody poured a can of pepper spray into the school's water supply. For some fucking reason. Also, I love this drawing, it's just so funny looking. But then there's this entry, which talks about a shaggy, long-haired girl who sits 2 spaces in front of Chi. So this must be Bev who has to give a presentation, which is going very awkwardly to the point that this asshole teacher starts yelling at her, causing Bev to choke up and sound like she was crying, which then you could see that blood started dripping down from her left leg. She left school shortly after and wasn't seen for the rest of the day. This does remind me heavily of the scene we saw play out in the game, but this is only March 12th, so there's a lot more stuff to cover. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to start summarizing, which kinda hurts my soul, but also if you're just that interested, you're just gonna have to read this for yourself. Links in the description. And please just check it out if you're just ever so slightly interested. It's so worth it. For the next couple months, she writes about her process of befriending Bev, which starts as an awkward interaction at lunchtime where Bev would just give her the fluoride stare and not say anything, to having actual conversations about common interests and walking home together since they both live close by. It's just really nice to see them becoming good friends, but also in the back of my mind I got more and more scared as I slowly saw the date approaching October 14th. And oh yeah, mixed in with all this, there's a short OC story that gets intense.
Whore.
Anyways, now their friendship has blossomed even more since sophomore year's ended, with them having a sleepover and taking a 20-minute bike ride out to secluded little lookouts. During that night, Chi ended up kissing Bev without her consent, to which she was not okay with that at all. This caused them to not talk to each other for a few days, which Chi clearly regrets the whole ordeal. But on July 4th, they agreed to meet up again and go to a fireworks show. Also, I really don't like Bev's username. God damn it. To which Bev gave Chi matching candy bracelets with BFF engraved as an apology gift. Now I understand the imagery in the game, so that's pretty cool. Also, I fuck with this image so much. I don't know why, it's just really nice looking. I just love how everything is stylized on this website, it's all just pleasing to look at. Sometime later in mid-August, Chi turned 15 and got a guitar as a birthday gift from Bev, which is just sick as hell. School has now started back up again and both of them got a lot of classes together, with 2 of them being electives. That's pretty fun. Unfortunately, around a week later, some assholes were picking on Bev. This has happened multiple times before and just something snapped within Chi, who tried to fight back even though Bev was trying to prevent that. Chi didn't end up listening to Bev's pleading, which caused Chi to get punched in their left eye, damaging it greatly, and they both got suspended as a result. God, high schools are a fucking nightmare. It is never specifically stated when people start seeing the blog, but I could guess around here. And yeah, I can really see how this information getting exposed online to the public, combined with the bullying at school and how much she really trusted Chi, can completely ruin Bev's life. And of course, Chi should have never put up such personal information of someone like that, especially her only friend. But to me, it's really hard to be that mad at Chi as the reader, since it was clear that Chi just wanted to express her emotions and life freely and she had no other outlet available. And plus, Chi's in the 14 to 15 age range while writing this in 2002. I don't think she exactly has the full grasp on the dangers of revealing your life on the internet like that. And that's the saddest part, is that she wasn't intentionally malicious at all. She was just excited, immature, and naive. It was an extremely stupid, but understandable mistake. Still, Chi needs to learn boundaries. Yeah, I think that's her biggest flaw. It's now October and Bev hasn't spoken to Chi in weeks. Bev isn't appearing in class and not returning Chi's calls anymore. She writes exhaustedly at 12:45 in the morning that her life seems to be on a downward spiral. Poor attendance and grades, with Bev now attending school again and completely ignoring Chi at all costs. She just wants to apologize, but it just seems impossible and she's scared of losing her only real friend that she has ever had. She's gonna find her tomorrow. Or today. Whatever. Fuck. There's a link to the game and well, we all know what happens on that day. The final entry says that something came up and she won't be posting here anymore, saying she has to abandon this part of herself. Okay, time to reel things back a bit. Now, me and my friend were absolutely loving this story so far. It made us care about these 2 fictional high school girls, and how it was all formatted added to the enjoyment a lot. It was just so fucking cool. And before we continue on to the final part of this story, I want to talk about some of the secrets you can find around the website briefly. Also, epilepsy warning for this first part. I really don't want you to die on me now, so do that later or some shit. If you click on this one button on the side that says Y2K, you get brought to this canvas of Babel type shit with voids leading to different screens. You got a bunny with the URL saying Chi and a coyote with the URL saying Bev. They both represent their favorite animals and the injuries they got during their friendship. You can also find a notebook of Chi's OCs during that one entry, and a fake 404 page that leads to a Morse code machine. I have no fucking clue how to translate any of this shit, so I'm just gonna go back to the main page. If you click this button, you get taken to what are Chi's favorite things, and if you click the text, "In the meantime," you get taken to a music video that slowly distorts over time, and near the end you can see Bev's gravestone. Of course, there's a good amount of stuff that we missed, so I encourage you to look around this website for yourself to see if you can find anything new. And that leads us to the final part of this story, Naomi's visual album, Chi-Chi. And I really fucking love this album. I think it's a great companion piece to the already great story so far, following Chi's time after October 14th in her dope-ass room. And also sorry for my potentially not so insightful commentary about this album. I'm not a musician at all, I don't know how to fucking play instruments. I only played a cello for a year in elementary school, which I fucking sucked at. Like, really badly. God, I fucking... It's not that serious, I just don't like playing instruments. Anyways, I don't know how to explain this stuff properly, so I just like it a lot and I want to talk about it, that's all. And actually, one last thing. It's pretty obvious, but of course, if you're interested in this, just go listen to the album instead of watching my dumbass talk about his favorite moments from it. Plus, you actually get to support the person who makes it instead of the person who just talks about it. And I really hope that you do check it out. But alright, let's get to Chi-Chi now. In the first track, Galaxy, she's just sleeping, which is a good ease into what follows next in Bunnyland. We hear about Chi's struggles at coping and moving on from Bev's passing, saying that it feels like that Bev is haunting her and how she's contemplating ending it all. In the following song, Adderall, she tries just that. She almost spends the entire song on the floor before her computer blue screens and she wakes up a bit after, and starts using it in night terrors. Chi at this point is getting very desperate to have Bev back, so she turns to the occult. I really love this interlude, Universe. It should be noted that we start hearing vital signs around this part too. But yeah, it's a nice little reprieve to reflect a bit before my favorite song, Reaper. Chi walks out of her room for a bit before hopping back on her computer, as the lyrics say that even though Chi doesn't want to accept that Bev is gone, she can't keep lying to herself and pretending that everything is okay. If I keep lying, what will come of my pride? A pair of eyes staring dead at the sky. If I keep lying, who will mark on my life? A stander-by with a cloak and a scythe. And God, I really love the ending of the song, it's just so fucking good. In the next track, Little Lizard, she's just rocking out on her guitar as she compares her declining mental state to a cold-blooded Anole who's home alone. I especially like the lyrics, and just upon the impact you looked me in the eyes and mouthed a couple words, saying, "You'll be just fine," as it is a direct callback to the ending of the game. My movie's Chi's breaking point as she compares her life to a stage play that has only damaged her and one that nobody will ever watch again. She starts brandishing a knife in the second half of the song, and Almost the entirety of Abyss is dedicated to a hospital bed with an ever-growing red mass around it with a faint outline of Chi's head before snapping back to reality. This of course shows how far down into the depressive pit Chi has fallen. I love the opening of Trust Game. It just further punctuates the severity of the situation. Chi's now asking Bev what to do, to which she has one final moment of self-hatred before she tells herself it's okay, and that she's done with this. Later on in the song, if you slow down to the part where Chi wakes up from a nightmare, you can see this dark figure, to which I assume is the ghost of Bev. This part is also really fucking amazing too. The next track, Nowhere, has some amazing visuals of Chi being transported through different game worlds before ending on Oct 14. It's just a beautiful scene, and then Chi goes through some insane epilepsy-inducing shit, which I think is Chi finally coming to terms with everything. The last song, December, is a triumphant outpour of emotions of how much Bev meant to Chi, and how much she changed her life in the short time that they knew each other. And it all ends with Chi leaving a flower on Bev's grave.
This December, I'll be better, find another fun face, and after one is hardly over, as I try to find complacent when you.
This entire fucking album and this visual album experience was just amazing. I loved it so much. And I'm not even a big fan of hyperpop like at all, and I still enjoyed it a lot. It's a crime that this only has 16k views. Overall, I just completely love this story. It felt so personal and real that it made me feel genuine emotions for two made-up high schoolers, and watching their heartwarming friendship slowly develop before having it all destroyed in one moment. Very much like real-life friendships. But the thing that gets me the most about all of this is that it's still clear that their friendship was so meaningful to the both of them in the end. If you spend a long time figuring out all the puzzles on the website, which I fucking didn't, I found a Steam discussion talking about it, you can find the deepest part of this entire website, which is a 3-digit code lock, and entering 926, you can find Chi's knife and the letter from Bev. Inside it reads about how their friendship was too good to be true and how stupid Bev feels about their personal life being exposed online like that, and all of the bullying and ridicule that it caused. The last page says, "But at least I can say that the time I spent with you still meant so much to me in the end, even if it's kinda tarnished now. I hope you can cherish it as much as I did and carry with you whatever little bit of hope I somehow managed to spark within your life. See you in the next one, Bunny." Also, there's a trans-colored candy bracelet included too, which does make a lot of sense and explains why some parts of the story might have played out how they did. It also explains this image for the game on the Steam page. But yeah, it's a bittersweet ending, but I think it's the best ending this story could have had. Both characters are still figuring out who they are, and while they have their flaws, mostly Chi, they still manage to connect with each other and recognize how much it meant after it all falls apart. Which, I don't know, I just kinda relate to that with the friendships I had in my life. I know I've been talking about this goddamn website and music video longer than the actual game, which goes against the title of this video, but I don't really care, because the story works so much better because it is a multimedia story. It creates a unique approach to how the story is told, and I think it benefits from choosing these three mediums specifically. The game wouldn't work without the website being an external part, because it feels like we, the audience, are looking in at someone's personal life that they are making public, which was one of the biggest points of drama in their friendship. The game wouldn't work without the music video because it adds an extra emotion and context to what happened in the game and on the website. And you know, the game being a fucking game is really cool because you get a more intimate time on what happened on that day. And I never would have known about this whole story without the game, because I'm not into niche hyperpop music nor the one to find mysterious ARG websites. With how I experienced Oct 14, the game is the starting point, and by showing the middle of the story first, to me me, made the entire story better as a result by filling in the pieces and figuring out this whole world, or even of how you're supposed to experience it by going through the website first. I still think it's a really good story, and how it all builds up is beautiful and tragic. It's simply amazing how a free 10-minute RPG Maker game with less than 50 reviews was able to hook me into a 4-hour-long multimedia story. It's just so fucking cool to see someone put this much effort into the backstory for their album. It's just worthy of so much more praise. It's honestly a crime that this entire project has received such little attention. So yeah, go check them out and show the creator some support. They have a whole bunch of other music and a new project on the way too. God, I just love their work so much. When I look at the list of games that I've talked about, the main thing that I ultimately like about them is how human they feel. At every step of the way in an RPG Maker game, I can tell that a person was making it. They just have this rawness and vulnerability about them that creates a really unique vibe, if that makes sense. To me, the simplicity of RPG Maker games makes the games better. It basically forces developers to go all out on their vision, and that leads to much more personal and memorable experiences. I just don't think these games would be as good if they were made in another engine. It wouldn't have that extra thing that elevates them. There's just something really cool and motivating about people taking a basic game engine that is so easy to use that an actual child can make a game with it, and be able to make art that can reach a lot of people, potentially in the millions despite the limitations and stereotypical assumptions about the software. And while these games may not have the most technical and nuanced gameplay or some insane looking graphics, and sometimes contain bugs or just genuine flaws, like me getting lost and swollen to bursting for 30 minutes due to the at times absolutely obtuse puzzles or lacking audio and Franzen cutscenes, I can never justify them as being anything truly degrading of the whole experience, because these games are usually made by one or a few people with small budgets, and it's just a reminder on how fucking hard it is to make games, and how past these flaws and bugs you can still clearly see someone's true attempt at expressing themselves while never charging anything for the experience. RPG Maker games are just made by real people who cared about the game they were making, and that deserves more praise in this modern day. I'm just glad that these games exist at all. There's an interview done by 8.5-Bit with Austin Jorgensen when he was still developing Lisa the Painful 11 years ago, and I think this segment gets to why I love RPG Maker games so much.
How have you found RPG Maker? That's what you're using, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. How have you found that to work with? Do you find it can be kind of too limiting to what you want to achieve, or have you found that it allows really rapid development to get stuff out quickly?
That is exactly what it is. I mean, for me, I'm not trying to make something that is revolutionary in a sort of like aesthetic gameplay kind of way. I really want to do something that is very narrative driven, and that with RPG Maker can accomplish what I want. And I think it's great for what I'm trying to do, and like you said, it'll help in putting out the product fast and efficiently. And
Yeah.
on top of that, it's really like not having all these options has really forced me to be creative and figure out new things. I mean, it's like film for the longest time. Before sound, you had to be really creative, and that's why movies back then were awesome. And now movies are all this like CG. They can do anything they want, so they don't have to try essentially. I mean, you program and all that, but I think a lot of the creativity's kind of gone a little bit.
Somewhat of a very perverse image that James and I used to talk about, and I wonder how panicked he'll get as I bring this up, which was a person who had a prolapsed prostate, and it was on their belly, and they were just massaging it in ecstasy.
Why would you bring that up?
We live in a scary world for artists of all kinds right now. With the rise of AI combined with people's declining attention spans and sense of quality for what they consume, it's never been a harder time than ever to be an artist. But all of this should never be enough of a deterrent to ever stop creating. I want to keep on seeing cool shit being made straight from the soul. And if you're into any game genre in specific, or hell, any media genre in specific, I encourage you to look deeper into it. There's a lot of hidden gems out there, so just be willing to try out any random thing that you find. Who knows, maybe it'll be one of your favorite experiences you had in a while. I just like seeing people be creative. So go draw that picture, write that song, develop that video game, fucking sculpt that marble statue, or anything else. And don't be afraid to put it out there if you want to. There's always meaning and value to what you are making. It's important. I struggle with every aspect of video creation. I hate my writing, I hate my voice, I hate my editing. It's fucking draining. But it also makes me appreciative of the great art that gets released despite these daunting roadblocks. I love RPG Maker games. They mean a lot to me. I hope that comes across in this clusterfuck of a video that I don't know if anyone will actually enjoy. But that's enough about me. Please go and support these game developers by playing their games, writing a review or comment, letting other people know about these games, or monetarily supporting them if you're able to. And just support any artists that you like in general. We're all benefiting ourselves by doing so. Thanks for taking the time out of your ever-shortening life to listen to my ramblings. It means a lot to me. Have a good rest of your day or night. Bye-bye! Bye! Get the fuck out of here! Bye! Leave now! I don't like you! Leave! Fucking wasted your time watching my video.